Hi, I'm Larry Whelan, and I've just posted a brand new version of the Grand Canyon Panorama Project out on the web. You can go look at it at its usual location. Its URL project.gcpano.org. And in this video, I want to tell you about some of the new features that are available in the new version of the project and how you can bring them up and make use of them and enjoy them. So, looking at the panorama that we have displayed in the project right now, the Cedar Point Coconino Overlook, which is the very same panorama that I posted on the last time I posted on Facebook before I disappeared for a while to get this version of the project completed. But the screen looks a little different. If we look up across the top, you'll see that the location, Cedar Point Coconino Overlook, is the last name in a series which show you your exact location within the project, drilling down from the top to where you are. So the very top is the Grand Canyon National Park, then the choice below that was the North Rim, choice below that was Forest Service Trail 57, and then the final choice was this particular panorama at the Cedar Point Coconino Overlook, which is being displayed here. But one of the nice things about this set of names showing where you're at up on the top of the page is you can go and click on any of them and go to that location directly. So I'm going to click on North Rim, and that's where we went to, back up to that point in the hierarchy of locations in the park. Now I'm just going to navigate back down to where we were, clicking on Forest Service Trail 57. That comes up on top as a result. And now I'm going to pick this particular panorama, the Cedar Point Coconino Overlook. And there it comes up again. But what I think is, to me, the most exciting change in the new version of the project is now that you're going to be able to see the narratives that I create for the panoramas, not just as some text out on a post in Facebook, but embedded directly within the panorama itself, complete with links which will help you navigate directly around in the panorama without having to guess and try to figure out where you need to go by as good a description that I could give you in the text to tell you where to go. So let's look at the very first line of the narrative where it says this 360-degree panorama is right on the northern boundary of Grand Canyon National Park on top of a cliff band of Coconino sandstone. Well, we've got two links in that sentence. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that first link within that first sentence of the narrative, this 360-degree panorama. What you see come up is a set of credits for who created this panorama. In this particular case, the names are all mine since I've done all the work. That's not true of of all the narratives in the project. There have been some other contributors, and when they have contributed, you will see their names in the credits in a particular narrative for a particular panorama. Now let's go look at that second link within the first sentence of the narrative where it says a cliff band of Coconino sandstone. Now if you're just reading the narrative, you could try to guess, look around in the panorama where that might be, but I'm just going to click on it and it's going to swing right to where I'm talking about. So there you can see the cliff band. It's the actual location where we're standing right on the top of the cliff of Coconino sandstone. And that's going to be true for a lot of these links, if not virtually all of them within a narrative are going to go to where in the narrative it's talking about in the text. So you'll see in the next sentence, we've got Saddle Mountain, Click on that. And there it goes. It looks back at Saddle Mountain, topped by a dome of Kaibab limestone. So I'm going to click on that, and it's going to zoom in, and it's going to show exactly where that Kaibab limestone is with a label in this particular case. This is kind of highlighting a new area of focus for the Grand Canyon Panorama Project, which is going to be geology. Something that I've wanted to do for a very, very long time was to get a geological map incorporated into the project. Though I've tried several times, I've never had much success in doing it until now. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to click on Map and go over to the map. And right now it happens to be showing the satellite imagery. It says Topo down there. I'm going to click on that. And it switches the map to the United States Geological Service topographical 7.5-minute map for the area, which we have available for everywhere in the park, which you can wander around in. But we're not here to look at the topographical map. We're here to look at the geological map, which is now present within the project. And to do that, here on the map, I'm going to click on Show Geology, and up it comes. A version of the United States Geological Service geological map of the area. In the past, if you wanted to look at this geological maps, it wasn't too easy. You'd have to Google around on the web and find where you could download a PDF file that would include the map. And then you could just look at that in a PDF viewer, which unfortunately was extremely slow and cumbersome. You wouldn't be able to reference easily back and forth between the geological map and its legend. And frankly, it was just a pain. So it's always been a dream of mine to have a geological map that was easy to use within the project. And here we have it. Now notice I'm going to move the cursor, and it's over that darker blue area. And when I did, something happened down at the bottom. You'll see that there's a top row in the footer down there, which now says PT Toroweap Formation Undivided. Whenever you hover and or click right on a formation within the map, which I did again, I just moved the cursor and it went over the turquoise area, and it says PH Hermit Foundation. So you're not having to go look at a legend or anything. You just point the cursor at a color in the map and it's going to tell you what it is. Now what I did just there is I clicked on the geological map, and when you do that, it's just going to actually bring you back to the panorama and point you in the direction that you clicked on in the map. In this case, it's not too compelling. I'm going to go back to the map, and I'm going to look over here at this area, which I happen to know is Saddle Mountain. As a matter of fact, you can just see it peeking through there. So I'm going to click on Saddle Mountain. Panorama is going to turn to it and show the mountain. But in addition to that, it showed the geology within the panorama itself. And you'll notice that there's a little box saying PK up on the top of the dome. And PK happens to be the formation that was right at the spot that I clicked on. And it's taken me over to the panorama itself, kind of move around here a bit, and it's showing that formation, and we're looking right at it. So, this is the other major piece of geology that has been added to the project with this version. Not only do we have the USGS geological map, included in the project. But now we're able to see the geology of the entire panorama within the panorama itself. So as I navigate around in here and let go of the cursor, you'll see that as I stop moving, the geology snaps into view. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit in this area, looking down toward Nanquip Mesa, and it still has that PK highlighted since we haven't selected a different formation. And it's showing where the Kaibab limestone is located, right on the top of Nanquip Mesa. Now I can also click on any of these labels with formation codes on them, and it's going to highlight that. So now you see PC, which happens to be for the Coconino sandstone. You see it both there and you see it down below being highlighted at the bottom of the screen. So now I'm going to go back to Saddle Mountain again and look at it. And sure enough, it's showing me exactly where the Coconino sandstone is on Saddle Mountain. See that strip, that white strip, and the line and the label there, PC. So you have much greater ability to really understand the geology of the park with the new features that have been added to the project, both with the geological map option and with the mapping of the geology within the panoramas itself. Now, just before I finish, I want to give my thanks to the people at the Arizona Geological Survey, which is an outfit associated with the University of Arizona in Tucson. I happened to visit their homepage on the web a couple of months back, and on that page I saw a geological map of the Grand Canyon displaying exactly the way I've always wanted to display the geological map, but had never succeeded. I contacted them, and in response to my contacting them, they gave me a generous amount of help and of their time to make it possible for me to take that same geological map, or actually a very close version of it, and include it within the Grand Canyon Panorama Project. Like I said, I had tried to do this a number of times on my own, but I'd never succeeded. But they made it possible, and I want to give them my heartfelt thanks.